It's here. I know. I've got the button. It's one of these. Let me head over here and we'll do the thing. There it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world. And no button. No button, no sound.
Greetings, my excellent friends.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today, it knows what this hat is. And today is November 20th, 2023. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? I'll fire that hat command one more time. It knows what this one is.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
So good to see you. Let me bring on the chat because there's a lot going on here. Look at all this chatter going on here. So much happening. Let's catch up here. Piercerer, hello, Piercerer. How you doing there with the first drop in? Marcus voice coder. Title might be a little out of date. What? Really? I thought I updated the title across. Post.NET Conf wrap up. No, that's what we're gonna be doing here. How you doing there? Hop in the cloud. Phil Vesey, hello. Tick boom with the raid. 7 folks they're bringing in here. Thank you so much. Appreciate the raid. Hello to you and your friends. Thank you, UNESCO. How's it going there? Let's get into. There's a bunch that's happened here over the last few days, last week. It's been amazing for a little bit for all of us. So we are, of course, restreaming over to YouTube as well. Blazer Mr. Magoo is here. Look at that.
Magoo just resubscribed for 66 months. Tags.
Yes. We'll get in and talk about all of that. My goodness. Let me get some music playing here in the background here. Let me do that. With some stream beats so that our friends on YouTube can persist the claims of a scammer that wants to continue to claim that he wrote this music He didn't. He continues to. And I'm going to start really torching this fella because he's been just a pain in the neck. So, dear Lord. There we go. We'll jump in somewhere here. This is called Odin's Revenge. This is Stream Beats by Harris Heller. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like, except on YouTube, where this scammer is going to try and claim that he owns your video. Check it out at streambeats.com. A big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for writing this music that we're listening to today. I do solemnly swear that we are up to no good. Let's talk about... We've got a lot to run down here, chat. So, a lot happened over the last week, and I want to say I was right in telling you that there's some stuff that was coming as part of the .NET Conf, the .NET 8 release that you haven't seen yet, that I think was that I thought was going to make a difference, and folks are going to wake up and go, holy smokes. And that was .NET Aspire. We're thrilled with the feedback, with what we've heard from folks who are watching .NET Conf. Their initial feedback, Aspire is just a preview at this point. It's not complete, but we are shipping this initial set of bits with .NET 8 for folks to check out, for folks to try. And overwhelmingly, folks are impressed with what they're seeing. There are a number of folks who are those typical negative Nellies that are going to say, you know what? It doesn't do X, Y, and Z. You didn't account for this, that, and the other. It's still a preview. There's still a whole lot more that they want to build. They're taking that feedback and they're delivering all kinds of features for it to plug into every cloud provider. So I think folks are jumping on and being critical of it without really listening to the whole message. And that's kind of to be expected, because these people that jump on and complain about these things, it's what they do for every framework, everything that Microsoft releases. Oh gosh, it's this, that, and the other. Oh, look at how they're trying to take over the world, blah, blah, blah. What, you don't expect Microsoft any product developer to try and do more, offer a compelling product that you want to convert and use? Yeah, come on now. That's not being realistic. Is somebody going to release a version of React purposefully so that you don't want to use it? You know what? We need less React developers. This new version of Angular has too many folks interested in it, so we're going to put out features so that you don't use it. Really? That's not a thing. So, yes, that's right, Marcus. You can't please everybody all the time. We're going to do our best to please more folks. But hey. Let me see here. Chuck says .NET Conf was amazing. Thank you. Literally, I've been working on the event. So, for those who don't know, I'm the executive producer of .NET Conf. I've been working on the event since April. There were a lot of challenges that we overcame. There were a lot of things that I wanted to bake into the production of the event, and key among them was that all the folks that were on staff working for the event, in studio, moderating, hosting, were part of the family, and we wanted them to feel like they were welcome. They could help out and lift up the speakers so that you, the viewers, had a better event. And I think that came through a lot. Hop in the Cloud says .NET 8 is a game changer. I kind of agree. Between the updates to Blazor and the new ways that you can run .NET applications for the web, whether it's in WebAssembly, it's on the server, or a combination of the two, really, really amazing stuff there. And then Aspire, the new performance capabilities, dynamic PGO built in, C# 12. There's a whole lot that you can do with this now that folks just haven't touched yet in other stacks. Chuck says the performance gains just by targeting .NET 8 are insane. That's dynamic PGO. It wakes up and sees things that you do repeatedly and optimizes it. Really, really cool stuff. Tony on YouTube says, can you tell me, Azure B2C, Active Directory B2C to a newbie, what is the meaning of a tenant? That's a bit outside my expertise. Active Directory B2C is the ability for you to stand up and allow folks to sign into your application with a centralized, secure user storage location. B2C means that your business is marketing to consumers, so consumers can log in. Tenants are the various applications that you deploy as part of your Active Directory. So you can have many applications, many different groups that live as tenants, just like tenants in an apartment building that live inside of that. So it allows you to segment your users that you store and manage in there. That is a dramatic oversimplification of that technology. I strongly recommend you check out the documentation and content on learn.microsoft.com to learn more about Azure Active Directory B2C, which is now called Microsoft Entra. Let's replace React with Blazor. I'm not going to argue about that. Not going to argue with that. Marcus says, I've updated several projects to .NET 8. No issues yet. Awesome. Landon's here on YouTube. How you doing there, Landon? So many cool things came out from .NET Conf. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. To the folks in chat here, to the folks that watched, thank you. If you didn't catch the closing of .NET Conf, as the producer, as the guy behind the scenes running the whole shooting match there, I had some closing words at the end of .NET Conf. This was the most watched .NET Conf ever, including more folks watched it than the pandemic edition of .NET Conf. We are very, very proud of that. We are humbled by the attention that you shared with us, because we know there were other in-person events going on. There were other virtual events that were going on that you could have watched, and you decided to spend that time with us. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for the event. It was amazing. I can also share with you that in the closing of .NET Conf, I made it a point to open TagzApp, the TagzApp repository on GitHub, and show everybody the names of our contributors to TagzApp. And I scrolled through that so that everybody got to see your efforts to help out with that project and your contributions to help make .NET Conf run. Huge thank you to everybody that helped with that. Let me catch up here with a little bit of chat. Hop in the Cloud says, I could see there's definitely a performance improvement in .NET 8. Currently working on changing one of my Blazor projects to server-side rendering. Very exciting. Best of luck to you, Hop in the Cloud. Let us know how you do with that. That's the kind of thing that I love hearing, is being able to advance and do more with that groundwork that folks have laid with Blazor in your applications. How you doing, Warm Peas and Big Pot? Good to see you. Hello, welcome back. On Twitch, Alriskia says, good evening. Question, how do I secure my data when you use WebAssembly? Looking in upgrading our Blazor server app to include WebAssembly, but I don't know how to secure the code. Well, two different things there. Your code and your data. Your code is just like for JavaScript developers for the past 25 years, any code that you send to the browser, you need to assume is going to be decompiled and folks are going to be able to get into. To secure your data, what you can do is you can have folks log into your application and set up authenticated web API endpoints so that folks are logged in, and when they go to access those endpoints, they exchange a JWT, a JavaScript Web Token, JWT, that verifies that they are who they say they are, and you then grant them access to that data. So, two things there that needs a little bit of attention to ensure you do properly. Kinslayer says, "Good afternoon. Can't wait to keep the most beautiful trophy in all of college football this weekend." Which trophy are you talking about? Are you referring to the land grant trophy, that ugly hunk of wood and marble and steel? Oh dear lord. Chuck, let me pin that question and come back to it. Why was .NET Conf scheduled during the same week as Ignite? It's actually the other way. We'll talk about that. Day one of .NET Conf was awesome, says Big Pod, but I dislike the name Aspire. Plan on going into the changes. What would you like Aspire to be named instead? Because we went through many names before we settled on Aspire. Would you have preferred it to have been named in the typical Microsoft style as Microsoft.NET Framework for Cloud Native Application Deployments? Or would you like a more concise name that's kind of wraps up what it's trying to do in making something cloud native? So, didn't have time yet to watch day 2 or 3. That's okay. We have plenty of time. How you doing there, Sean? Good to see you. Hello. You're welcome, Alrisk. Best of luck on that. Will I start using Aspire? Ah, Manoj. Walter!
Just resubscribed for 45 months.
Thank you so much for the resub, and we'll make a donation to the American Cancer Society. Chibi Chan!
Chibi_Chan_10 just resubscribed for 8 months.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Another donation to the American Cancer Society. I plan to put TagzApp into Aspire. I plan to convert TagzApp to Blazor, put it into Aspire, and make it a hybrid application, a Blazor hybrid application, so we can deploy native applications for streamers who want to use it on Windows and on Mac. So all of that coming in December. I think we're going to go through a lot of that. .NET run from here. No. Something more descriptive connected to cloud native, like what? Like Kubernetes? What's a Kubernetes? Like, that wasn't a thing before we started hearing it being used all the time around containers. Right? Like, so folks are going to complain about the name no matter what it is. Right? That's just the way it is. So, .NET John. Sure, right? .NET Scott. Like, has some clashes with Acer Aspire. There's clashes with everything. The other names that it had previously clashed even worse. Like, the trick is being able to get a legal department to sign off on it from a marketing point of view as something that can be marketed, can be promoted, can be received, and is unique. .NET Tie? No, it's more than Tie. It's more than Tie. Lots more than Tie. Tie is just one piece of what .NET Aspire is. So, feedback for TagzApp, would it be possible to make the message that pops out appear larger? Yes, this is something that we kind of struggled with during the event, and we wanted to improve. Make it larger, easier to see on screen. We tried to do a little bit of that, and I didn't want to make significant changes during the event. Aspire is a better name than Maui. Folks are going to complain about whatever names Microsoft comes up with. Honestly, compared to the other names that were there in the past, that Microsoft came up with, it is worlds better. So, I am not concerned. It is a good move, in my opinion, my humble opinion. So I'm just keeping an eye on a couple things. Yeah, there we go. Good. How does Aspire compare with Radius? Aspire is an integrated with your programming language framework. Radius is more of an operating system management platform, and somebody needs to reconcile those two. So, Aspire, very funny, Warm Peas. Yeah, Windows Me was awful. Eric, thank you so much for the kind words. Walter asks, what would be different in TagzApp when I integrate Aspire? You'll be able to deploy it as a collection of microservices with caching, with database integration that's a lot easier to manage. Plus, really cool console, and I want to get a Grafana dashboard built for TagzApp, so it's real easy to spin up and see exactly what's going on with very rich logging and statistics being reported. That was something that we struggled with during the event, and I want to talk more about TagzApp during the event. I need a rundown here. Can I put together a little rundown? Text block here. I really don't like that. No, I don't like that at all. I don't know where that's saved either. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna put that there. So I need a little bit of a rundown here. We need to talk about TagzApp at .NET Conf. We already have a question, .NET Conf. Timing with Ignite. I can talk to you about that now. Yes, we need to talk about OpenAI. So let's do this. I want to talk about the .NET Conf timing with Ignite next. How you doing there? Kevin in the Philippines on YouTube. Welcome, Kevin. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Let's talk about .NET Conf with Ignite timing. So here's the deal. .NET Conf is every year, second Tuesday of November. Period. That doesn't move because that's Patch Tuesday. In order for .NET Conf and .NET 8 to be released, there are a number of patches that go out with a .NET release. This is because... we also need to talk about... let's talk about that. This is because there are patches, fixes, security patches that need to be disclosed and updated at the same time as they're put down for Windows. So they all need to be released at the same time. In order for that to happen, .NET Conf and the release of .NET 8 needs to happen on Patch Tuesday. So we make it in November so that we can have Patch Tuesday, update Azure, deploy everything, and all of Microsoft gets it at the same time, and so do you. That said,
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
this is the 5th different week that Microsoft Ignite has been on in the past 5 years. It didn't even happen the one year. Another year it happened twice. Ignite bounces around like a drunk kangaroo from week to week to month and just goes wherever it pleases and doesn't announce until it darn well feels like it. And last year they announced during .NET Conf, because Ignite actually ran the week before .NET Conf last year. They announced during .NET Conf that they were going to run the same week as .NET Conf. Literally, my staff's heads went, are you kidding me? What are they doing last year? We were none too happy about this. So we tried to find ways to collaborate, to work with, or work around Ignite. There was much gnashing of teeth and arguing. There were many folks who were unhappy with this conflict and timing conflict. after much discussion, many proposals, the executive leadership said, just run .NET Conf at the same time as Ignite. That said, .NET Conf had its most viewed event ever, while at the same time, .NET Conf was not allowed to be promoted on all the developer pages throughout Learn and the .NET website and so forth, because Ignite had those premium spots. We still had a record-breaking viewership. Is that because of Ignite? Because there was no mention of .NET Conf at Ignite. I want to thank our sponsors for their help with that. Getting word out about that. Sharing with folks like you on this stream. Folks that are watching our YouTube streams, and we're able to get that message out. Thank you. Thank you so much for telling your friends, telling your colleagues, and spreading the good word. Hey, .NET Conf is coming out, and .NET 8 with it. Our blog posts, our messages that we were able to get out, even though Ignite blocked us from being able to convey that message. It was difficult. It was a little disheartening at times, but we did our best to let the world know through tweets, through Mastodon toots, through everything, to get folks up to speed that, hey, this event is happening. So thank you, Marco. Yeah, hop in the cloud. It was a very good thing. Johan, yeah. Chuck says, I think it did the developer community a huge disservice because there were several competing talks. Forced to choose which to attend. Totally agree. Totally agree. I was not my decision. We had several alternate ways that we wanted to present .NET Conf. And this was the decision that was made by leadership. And that's about all I can say on that. There were several alternatives. At some point in the future, I'll talk further about those alternatives, but right now, as we're enjoying our success in .NET Conf, let's make sure that we focus on, you know what, as a .NET community, this was pretty darn great. It was the sessions all went so well. The presenters sounded great. The interactions using TagzApp, the product that we built here on stream, phenomenal. We had such a great time. Now we're going to do more for the next one. We're going to set up and we're going to have such a good time going forward. We've already planned, we've already scheduled the dates for the next .NET Conf. Second Tuesday in November, that's when it is. Which fortunately lands us outside for when you look at November 2024. That second Tuesday in November actually puts us outside the American election. So we shouldn't have any conflict with that. Eric says they could have dovetailed so many items together. Totally agree. Totally agree. The decision was made not to. And it wasn't my decision. I think for those of you that watch my streams, whether it's on YouTube or here on Twitch, I hope that you've learned from my personality that I want content, I want learning to be available to everyone, everywhere, and for everyone to have a good time and feel good about it. That wasn't the decision that some of these folks made. This leadership has learned from this, and next year Ignite will be second to .NET Conf. Johan, the ROI on .NET Conf viewership is much, much higher. Jean Valjean.
Just resubscribed for 48 months.
Coder24601, it's so good to see you. You didn't find Ignite interesting, Ionescu? I have to catch up on Ignite. Did I see AI Studio that it allows local development? I haven't caught up. Alu says, that's the big reason I'm excited to be here. Hunger for expanding learning lines. Thank you. Right? Look, I want you to be able to be a better developer and do more with your skills. I'm not going to close the door on that. I'm going to give you as much as I can to help you succeed. So, all right. So that's a little bit about the timing with Ignite. Javert. Does that make me Javert? Jean Valjean, and then does that make me Javert? Mots!
Moz 2005 just resubscribed for 66 months. Any thinking on OpenAI and this weekend?
Let me get there. Let me come back to that. I want to finish talking about .NET Conf. That was my next topic to talk about after this, Mots. Yeah, there's a lot to discuss there. We've been working on TagzApp here on this stream, and we ran TagzApp in a nice big service for .NET Conf. All of you who I saw the messages. I saw the messages on YouTube and Twitch and on Twitter, and I wasn't particularly paying as much attention to Mastodon. But when we went to our hosts and they went to the TagzApp board and they interacted and brought up messages, and they shared content, I saw the excitement from our viewers. Thank you. For some reason, YouTube chat just refused to work on our production server. I don't know why. I wasn't getting any error messages. I was getting messages indicating that it was fetching data properly, but for some reason, wasn't inserting into the database. And no error messages about that. So that comes back a little bit more to, we want to get some more improved logging and statistics for those interactions. There were some UI things we should have worked through to make that pop-up window a little bit bigger so everybody could see the messages coming through. I didn't realize just how small the screen was going to be on the touch screen. They were using a Surface Studio. How small that was going to be on screen, on camera, while they were presenting and talking to folks. I hope you saw that we did at times use the overlays that TagzApp generated in a vertical orientation, kind of like how I have chat over here, but we had individual messages embedded vertically over here while camera work was happening on the other side of the screen. Huge shout out to Justin, our technical director, and Cameron, our producer, who were working with me to make sure we had that all lined up and formatted right. Friends, the work to make sure that looked good as an effect transitioning, beautiful, just beautiful. It was great to see that come together, and literally I was so jazzed and hype on Monday, the day before day one of .NET Conf, to see all of those pieces fit together. Thank you again, everybody, for your contributions to make that work. And we're going to continue investing time into TagzApp to learn more about Blazor and Aspire and even .NET MAUI to improve this as a platform to allow streamers to interact with chat, events to interact with social media everywhere. So much more we're going to do. I hope you continue on this path with us. Let's see here. Blazor Mr. Magoo spent 6 hours upgrading 19 projects from .NET 4.8 to .NET 8. Not fun, but feels good. Yes. Yes. Let's see here. This tool will hopefully become part of the Microsoft furniture. We'll see. We'll see. TagzApp for Microsoft Build next. We'll see. We will see. It's not my call. It's not my event to run. but we're gonna hopefully do a lot more with TagzApp in 2024. They need to send one of those big touchscreens to my house so I can work on the real thing. I think that's a fine idea, Walter. I like Walter's idea here. Yes. TagzApp giving the moderated content stream was so cool. It was. It was. So we had moderators behind the scenes that were interacting and moderating. The moderators that we had working were having a blast using it, going through, being able to easily touch and approve and reject messages. The folks that were on screen. I don't know if you saw Richard Campbell on day one using TagzApp on the Surface Studio. Literally, he's flicking the screen and scrolling between messages like it's nobody's business. Just find that one and click and touch and show this. Amazing how he was going through it. I mean, literally stepped up. That was the first time he had used the application on a touchscreen and was having a blast with it. That's a credit to our designers, to the folks that were helping with CSS and making that work so well. It was great. I agree with Johan here. Let's make TagzApp irresistible. Totally. This is an open source application that we're going to continue to grow, and I hope we learn from as we build new features into it. I'm going to be writing blog posts about the new features that we add, not just the feature, but the technology that we use, so that folks can learn from that, take a look at our source code, and hopefully do something more in their own applications. Mini bar for those late nights. Well, I'm not gonna debate you on that, Eric. Not gonna debate you on that. My learner says, "Will there for you anywhere?" What do you mean? Will there? Well, what there? Help me out, my learner on YouTube. Code with Sean.
Code with Cian just resubscribed for 41 months. Hello, sir.
Hello, Sean. Thank you. And with all of my subscriptions, all of my cheers and advertising, we're going to make a donation to the American Cancer Society. We're going to wrap that up here in December, supporting them in memory of those members of our tech community that we've lost to cancer, and some of those that are fighting the fight against cancer. We support you, and we're making donations to the American Cancer Society to help all of those folks that are fighting. Richard was testing. Is it Kaminarin says it was really cool when you suddenly saw TagzApp on the live stream. Right? Right? Like, I hope you as viewers that have been watching the streams and watching that be built, I hope you felt a little bit proud, and I hope you felt like you had the behind the scenes knowledge of, hey, I saw that get built. We watched that get built. I was looking at the source code over here in Fritz's repository that helped make this Microsoft event run. That's just the first event. Trust me, there's gonna be more. The better we can make this easier to configure, easier for folks to add features, more integrated interactions with viewers, more folks are going to use it, and more is going to happen to it, and we're going to be excited to be able to support that for other folks that are doing events, streams. Seven Mudo on YouTube, how you doing there, asks, how do you add a loading screen in Blazor? It's right on the index page. There's an app. There's a div that has an ID called app. Format that however you want while it's loading up, and there's events that you can handle around that. You'll see it in there, things like load the spinner and how much it's loading and receiving that progress and being able to manage that. Windows AI Studio for local dev. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that, Eric. Yeah, I've got a bunch of videos to catch up on and read through out there, and I'm in no rush. I'm taking these 2 weeks off, but I'm going to be streaming and sharing with you and talking about all the cool things that have happened as part of .NET Conf, and evidently other cool things that are happening in tech, because it was a busy weekend. So let's Does the loading screen work in SSR? Yeah, it does. Well, you won't see it as much because it's server-side rendered. It's going to skip right through the loading screen. So, Kyoto was the first time I had heard about it, and I need to spend some time digging into it. When I'm producing, I can't really pay attention as much to the content from a learning perspective. When I'm watching the event, I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I've got to keep things running, So let's talk about OpenAI. Yeah. For those of you that didn't see, OpenAI had their Dev Day event 2 weeks ago. All kinds of big announcements. Here's the pricing. Here's the things they're doing. And everybody in the press and developers very happy with what they learned. And Friday last week, the OpenAI board decided to dismiss CEO Sam Altman of OpenAI. Very sudden. None of the partners, none of the big investors, including Microsoft, which has invested tens of billions of dollars in OpenAI, were notified that this change was happening by the board. So Sam politely stepped down. Oh, okay. That's what you're going to do. Then I'm going to find something else to do here. And his president of the company, I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm right. Greg Brockman. Both said, okay, if you're letting Sam go, then Greg said, then I'm going too, and left and started talking about starting a new company. They put an interim CEO in place, and she barely got a chance to start when the board went back to Altman on Saturday and said, would you please come back and be CEO? We think we made a mistake. To which Altman evidently said, according to some of the messages on The Verge and other websites, well, you're bringing me back the day after you dismissed me. I want certain commitments and agreements, including if you're going to bring me back, because at the same time as all this is going through, more than half the staff of OpenAI said, you know what, if you dismissed Sam, we're going too. We're quitting and we're going to follow him. Sam said, well, if you're going to, you need to agree to bring in a stronger board and resign. The board didn't take too kindly to that. They decided to hire Emmett Shear, the former CEO of Twitch, who stepped down earlier in 2023. And Sam Altman and Greg Brockman agreed to join Microsoft and as CEO and president of a brand new organization within Microsoft to focus on advanced artificial intelligence. Huge move. And now, Johan and Manoj, right, about 500 of the 700 employees at OpenAI have said, we're going to go with Sam. This is, I feel like this is such a amazing move by Satya Nadella, who evidently was kind of brokering back and forth this negotiation between the OpenAI board, which Microsoft should have been entitled to a seat on, and the employees and Sam and what's happening there. Microsoft had a significant steering share of OpenAI through these investments, and they continue. And the press release is that they're going to continue to maintain those investments. Now, I have no direct influence or information over what's happening with OpenAI or Microsoft. I can only tell you what I see in the reports that are out there, in the press, on social media, and my opinions on it. These are in no way meant to be stock purchasing advice or any kind of advice or insight about the organization. I got to say that first. Yeah, Microsoft owns a lot of OpenAI. So there's definitely a brain drain that's happening with OpenAI, and those folks are following over to Microsoft. It feels like an acqui-hire of OpenAI, and the folks that are going to be left at OpenAI aren't really right. The folks that made it go, I'm not sure. I don't know who the folks that are being left behind are, but it feels like this is an acqui-hire by way of a stupid board of OpenAI that decided to lay off the leadership after they had an amazing event. Instead of negotiating and working together and say, okay, here's what we've got going forward. Look at how interested our customers are, and we're going to do amazing new things. The board decided to take the nuclear option. And the fellows who were the face of the company got a lot of press just a week ago. They shot themselves in the face with a shotgun here, friends. It's not pretty. It does, Sean, that's a great way to put this. It feels like a little bit of pride got in the way here. I think you might be onto something. Phil, this was a masterclass of CEO negotiation and management by Satya Nadella. I kind of agree. They wanted to compete with Unity. Oh my gosh. Billy, oh, that's awful. Oh, that's awful. Oh my. It's bad. So I think from my point of view, these kinds of moves are going to propel Microsoft into a significant leadership role in the artificial intelligence technical space. There's no way around this. The folks, the folks that were working on all of that, joining Microsoft, where there's a huge additional group that's now building processors to run on Azure, so they're not constrained by the NVIDIA GPU shortages. There's folks that are building the software and SDKs and APIs that work with Python, Java, .NET, all very good things for us as developers. So I'm excited to see what happens. Do we know what Sam Altman was supposed to have done for the board to boot him? I do not know specifics, Worm Peas. No. There were many rumors that surfaced. I don't want to speak towards any of them to give them any credit, but nothing has been confirmed as to the reason why. Yeah, formerly Twitch's CEO Emmett Shear is going to be the new CEO of OpenAI, and quite frankly, in my perspective of working out on Twitch things, in and around Emmett Shear's leadership, he doesn't inspire a lot of confidence for me. My learner says key thing remembered from .NET Conf is .NET Aspire. What a new innovation. Totally agree. That very strongly opinionated cloud-native framework to make your work as a developer easier to build distributed applications is an amazing thing. Will I make an Aspire learning series? Probably. It's kind of part of my job. So, yes. Specialized AI servers, NVIDIA dedication, and now the minds of AI next year looks bright. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. What's Emmett going to do? I don't know. I don't know. Hang on, I need to... 1 second here. just some things going on with .NET Conf wrap up. All right. OpenAI has had 3 CEOs in 3 days. Yes. That's crazy. No, Chuck, don't go there. No. All right. So, a whole lot of stuff that has happened there, and I'm eager to see how this turns and spins because it has been a crazy 72 hours. Lots going on there. That's right, Marco. Yes. Yep. We'll see. No, Emmett is not a temporary. I have not seen temporary with Emmett's name. So, very cool, Sean. Being able to use D3 with Blazor JavaScript interrupt. Nice. And we'll talk off and on about the OpenAI stuff as things happen here because it is hot news, hot bits that we're all hearing and catching up on. And yeah, we'll see exactly how this turns out here over the next few days. So far, the stock market likes it. Let's start there. So far, the market likes it. Microsoft is up 8 points to an all-time record high. 378 is what I'm seeing right now on my report. So, how you doing there, Rambling Geek? Good evening. Marco says Microsoft will definitely have the pan by the handle regarding all AI. Maybe. Google has its Bard model that they're pitching, and they've done a lot of investment in artificial intelligence as well. Apple's been doing some work on it, but OpenAI and Microsoft definitely sounds like quite a leader. Sounds like. We'll see over the next 6 months how this change evolves. Seven Muodos asks, do I think Blazor will reach the point where there are no more JavaScript wrappers? No. That's a factor of how WebAssembly functions inside the browser. There are things that WebAssembly isn't going to give you access to regarding browser interactions. So you will need those wrappers in order to interact with the browser capabilities. That's just the nature of the WebAssembly technology and how it's sandboxed inside the browser. So, Eric says one of the things that he liked about .NET Conf was getting your questions answered about AI. Right? And that was facilitated by TagzApp. So I'm really happy with how TagzApp showed up and how .NET Conf went through the bits that we saw there. I want to pivot to a final topic that I want to cover, and then we'll go take a look and do some chatting about TagzApp. Last thing I'm going to talk about is a bit of sad news, something that we had discussed, something that needed to happen. I think it was Monday night. I think it was Monday night last week. I officially shut down ClipTalk. It was overdue. The folks at Twitch had released a competing service, competing capabilities that, quite frankly, they've got access to all the data, real-time access to all the data. They have a lot more compute power. They have a lot more engineers. And it was costing me a lot of money. More than $500 a month to run ClipTalk. We've learned a lot from it. Over the next month or two, I'm going to be publishing the source code to it, sharing it, because we learned a lot. The goal for ClipTalk was always to learn things, maybe have Twitch pick up and integrate some of our capabilities. have a little bit of a lift for our community, but was not to be. And it was the prudent decision to shut it off. So that's right. Where one door closes, another opens. We learned a lot in building Clip Talk. Let's face it, I was never going to be able to launch and listen and store data about the trillions of clips that are available on Twitch. It just was never going to happen. So it's for the best. We'll learn, we'll move on, and we'll make those features available for folks to download and learn from over the next month or two as I sanitize them a little bit, and we'll make that available. So it was a lot of spending. I should have closed it down. We had sponsors that were helping pay for it, but it was time to pivot. So it was a little bit bittersweet. I appreciate the kind words from folks there on Twitch. Yeah. There were directions that we could have gone with it, but quite frankly, with just me working on it, wasn't going to happen. With it being used at the conference, TagzApp already has higher awareness. Agreed, Phil. I have the website, TagzApp.com. I have that website. What? No, I have TagzApp. Is it TagzApp.net? Yeah, I have TagzApp.net. TagzApp.com, they wanted $3,500 for. I was like, no. We'll eventually stand up a website with all kinds of information on TagzApp.net. And quite frankly, I think we're going to move into standing up its own code organization on GitHub, where we'll have the various pieces of TagzApp available for folks to download and interact with. So, higher awareness, more usage, folks a lot more interested in it, and interested in collaborating on it, to be sure. So, one second here. I need to. One second. Yeah. And I need... So... Let's see, there's that. There we go. So if TagzApp has ads and Emmett as CEO, even the ads will have ads. Oh no, Sean. Marco asks, did I ever think of allowing crowdsourcing of Clip Talk? We wouldn't have gotten anywhere close to the funding for it. Currently, there are exactly 100 subscribers to this channel. That, even if I had taken those subscriptions and routed them to Clip Talk payments, it wouldn't have covered all the costs each month to run Clip Talk. Knowing that, it made no sense to try and push and do that level of funding for a service that Twitch was directly competing with. Oh my gosh, Sean!
CodeWithCN just gifted 5 subs.
5 gift subs into the channel. Thank you so much for that. That is very kind. The Welsh Cabagan, Bald Bearded Builder, Asheroth, Mo Corneo, and PowerShell Freak. Congratulations. You just got gift subscriptions from Code with Sean, and I'm going to make 5 donations to the American Cancer Society. Thank you so much. Maybe allow a message for paid tag to get highlighted with special trim. We had all kinds of ideas. Inside TagzApp? I think there's something we could do with VIPs at some level. I've had this idea of decorative frames that I wanted to do. When you pin videos on TikTok, right? They just appear at the top of TikTok with a little red check or a red pin in the corner to show, hey, they've been pinned. These are ones. They're so informative. That's right, Eric. What I want creators to be able to do is be creative with that. These are videos that are important to me. What do you do with pictures, with paintings that are important to you? You frame them. And the more ornate, more decorative the frame is, the more important it is to you. You might have just a plain black bezel frame that you put a photo in and you put on top of the fireplace that's pictures of your kids from whenever. But you know what? That really formal picture that you got taken when your kids graduated from high school, when you graduated from college, from your wedding day, it's got a really cool, ornate frame that show that means something to you. I want to allow cool, blingy frames that folks decorate. I wanted to do this in Clip Talk. Maybe we do that in TagzApp also. Stuff like that. Don't know. But something to consider as we think about VIP interaction. Not just, we started talking about blocking folks on TagzApp, but I think there's the concepts of blocking folks, muting folks, and the concept of VIP. Hey, there's this guy, Hanselman, over here that's tweeting about .NET Conf. I don't want to block him, don't want to mute him, but I may want to automatically promote and get his content flowing through. So maybe we can mark him as a VIP, and his messages automatically make it out to the live screen. Stuff like that. You could have premium VIPs. Sure. All things that we can consider and build and lay out there to help fund. For MVPs inside of Twitch streams? Sure. So, all kinds of interactions that we can take that stuff that, yeah, you know what? I think there's an opportunity for us to deploy a hosted TagzApp service that if streamers want to wire up to listen on Twitter, because that's a paid service for us to listen to, for them to listen to, or they want to use a little bit more on a hosted service, maybe it's $5 a month, maybe it's $3 a month. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But a way to help pay for the service to keep it running out there that allows them various interactions. Don't know. But I think those are all things that could be considered in the future. Hey, Dr. Cox. The heart of TagzApp, I enjoy being open source at this point. Hosting and running it as a shared service is something that I think is a potential. So, how well received was TagzApp by folks? They loved it. Eric, they loved TagzApp. Our technical director, Justin, in just the 3 quick months that we built it and got it running for him, was impressed with it He's got some feedbacks for some things that we can improve, make it easier for him to integrate with as a TriCaster operator and be able to do more with it. Totally agree. It's going to be great feedback that Justin shares with us, and you'll see some of that appear as issues on the TagzApp repository. There's more that our hosts shared with us. I believe I already posted some of those issues in the TagzApp repository. Yes, I did. Yeah, we'll talk about those in just a second. And they really enjoyed it. Richard, like I said, Richard Campbell really enjoyed working with the product. It felt natural to him, he said. He had used other products that were similar that did that type of interaction, and it felt very familiar to him. The pause operations, folks really appreciated that because it allowed them to focus on things. But they have some feedback for some other options there that we should talk about here. Tim Blazer, how you doing there, Tim, on Twitch, says, I think we can learn from Twitch, give the one listen tag for free and paid plan for more tags. Maybe. There's definitely some discussion that we can pursue about that. Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Let me head over to the GitHub repository, and I want to show you some of the feedback that I loaded in as the event was happening here about TagzApp. So, yeah, thank you, Eric, for posting that link, right? I will pin that link for folks there at the top of Twitch. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's linked. It's in the description just below if you're watching on YouTube. This is some of the feedback that we got during the event. These 4 messages right here. As folks were working on the screen, it was a touch screen, and they would touch and hold on a card, and it would right click on the card. We should allow that blocking of right click, right? That's not something that folks actually want to do when they're on the waterfall view. There is no right click for them in that view. So you know what? Let's turn that off. And I've marked this with the help wanted tag if somebody wants to put together a pull request.
Chris Jones
to close
just resubscribed for 50
Chris Jones! Thank you so much for that. And I'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. Sounds like an easy fix, says Johan. I think you're right. It could be an easy fix. Is it live somewhere? I turned it off. The version, so the instance that was out there running, some of you saw, I inadvertently tweeted the address for it. It was running, the .NET Conf one was running at tags.netconf.net. I've stopped the app. The database is still out there, and we're going to do some review of the content in the database to see if we can learn some things and funnel that into some learnings about the event. One second here. So that's turned off. However, our NFL test website is still up there. It's TagzApp NFL Test Azure Websites Net. Yeah, this is still running. That you can take a look at. There it is. I shared it on Twitch chat, and it was relayed to those of you watching on YouTube. So you can click through and get to this site. The waterfall view is out here. I'm not going to open up moderation for folks to be able to moderate, but you're welcome to take a look at how it's running out here. You can see we did get messages from Twitch, from Twitch, Mastodon, and Twitter flowing through here, but we also had messages flowing into .NET Conf from the website. We had a custom provider stood up for the website that folks were able to interact with. But you can see from these that it opens up, and we can click into and interact with. Yeah, there you go. So this was a feature that was requested by the production team to be able to sync the clicks. So if you're not logged in, it would sync the clicks and everybody would get this. This way they could have a machine that had a replica of what was on the user interface and be able to present exactly what was happening on the UI, kind of zooming in a little bit. This is something that I think we're going to want to lock down a little bit so that it doesn't replicate for users who aren't logged in. But for the purposes of getting it working for the event, worked just fine. Okay. So that's out there. We want to block right-clicking. I agree, Johan. This feels like it's something that we could fix pretty easily. The next thing that happened was, as hosts were going through and before a session concluded, they had like a list of questions that they preferred and they really wanted to kind of queue up to go through. It'd be nice if the host or a moderator could kind of queue up, here's the questions that we want to go to, and maybe they have a number in the corner of the cards on screen. I was thinking maybe like a tape flag coming in from the side, some sort of indicator so that the host could go through those messages quickly and get to the really good questions that they wanted. Because what we saw was the host would finish with a question and pivot away and be like, gosh, we need to also talk about, and they would be spending time looking for the next message. So that's something that I think we can improve there. So definitely something that be an easy feature to add and provide that interaction. Continuing here, there were people that were posting questions or messages that were just wrong. Like, hey, this doesn't make sense. And I wanted to be, as a moderator, I wanted to be able to jump back into that conversation that somebody was asking on Mastodon or on Twitter and be able to respond to them. There was no way for us to get there as a moderator or jump into Twitch chat and be able to respond to somebody. This is something that I think would be nice to have a click through so that we can take that message. We have the URL, the source URL for the messages included in the database, but to be able to have some sort of gesture that says respond and jump through to a preloaded user interface that I'm responding to a tweet or a Mastodon toot or a message on Twitch or what have you, with the reply already configured, ready to go. This, I think, is going to be compelling to help with moderation in the future. The ability to mute users came up as well. And I think I kind of have that wrapped up in the blocking capability here, maintaining a block list. We want to be able to mute certain terms and be able to mute certain users. You see the Stream Elements bot pop up here in my Twitch chat. I don't need to see the Stream Elements bot pop up in the messages that go on the tag board that we're managing here. Be great to just say, you know what? Ignore the Stream Elements bot. We never want that bot to appear. Or be able to mute certain terms. I think that's something that we had talked about in the past. Is it on the list here? No. Moderators should be able to mute certain terms. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Wise Otter.
W1Ciotta just resubscribed for 6 months. Excited to watch the NET Conference videos.
Thank you. Yeah, you're gonna have a blast with them. It's there was a lot that happened there. Hello, Ellie Face is here. Work is crazy today. I was so happy to see that you're feeling better last night on stream. Big hugs going out to you and your family. I know this has been tough for you over the last few weeks. I'm very happy to see that you're feeling better. Missed it for another conference? It's all recorded for that reason. How you doing there, Timmy the Termite? So let me explain to you what happened here and why we want to do this. Certain moderators, let's say specified terms should be automatically marked as reject when appearing in a message. Should automatically be marked as rejected. Example, here it is. Ready for this? Are you ready? During .NET Conf, some OnlyFans influencers decided to start tweeting using the decided to start promoting their pages using the hashtag .NET Conf hashtag. That did happen for real, Dr. Cox. So that absolutely was something that, quite frankly, we're flattered. One second here. I need to make sure that that makes it into our report. There we go. Okay. So it absolutely happened, and it happens when hashtags reach a certain level of trending. Folks see that tag starting to trend, and they want to hop on and get noticed as part of that trend. So I see this as a level of popularity of the .NET Conf hashtag, that a milestone that was reached. So that's great. That's happy that we reached that. Was unwelcome content to be appearing on our TagzApp. Marco Ruiz asks, have I considered adding an AI moderator to replicate other moderator actions in foreign languages? Already done. We have an Azure AI content safety moderator out there that, for right now, I hard-coded to most sensitive to any kind of content. And it was picking up, it particularly picked up content in, I'm not sure which Asian language it was. I saw the glyphs appear in, I don't know if it was Korean, Chinese, Japanese, but I saw the glyphs appear and it was automatically rejected by Azure AI Content Safety. So, love the idea so much, Marco. We already implemented it. So, yep. It is kind of annoying, Robert. You're right. But it is, right, there's a stature to that I'm flattered we reached. Right? Like, okay, it's annoying, but you know what? They do that for popular things. They aren't out there putting OnlyFans advertisements on the hashtag C#Fritz hashtag. So, I'm flattered. Let me see here. All right. It was a win for .NET Conf, Dr. Cox. You're absolutely right. And I'll repeat what I said at the top of the stream. Huge thanks to the folks that contributed to TagzApp, both through source code and folks in chat that were providing feedback to the development along the way here. Coldfire says, achievement unlocked, big enough to be spammed. Right! Right! And World's Slowest Sim Racer, I'm in the same boat as you, my friend. Would you be allowed to advertise your only feet? It's good. We'll consider some paid advertising for only feet next time. What? You know what? For different events that folks run, that may be acceptable. For this event, not so much. It's just pictures of animal paws. Okay, I don't know. So this is absolutely a feature. Hobbit feet, and this is Alu. This is what you get for stepping away to get coffee. So, let's see. We want to be able to respond to viewers. This is something that came up. Hosts and moderators need a way to add custom messages to the waterfall. There were several times during the event where the chat didn't have any questions. It was kind of quiet. However, we had some pre-seeded questions from our speakers, so it would have been nice to have an easier way for the hosts or moderators to insert a question in there and make it look like it came from just a random person. So we faked that out a little bit during the event, but putting something directly into the application I think would have been nice. But overall, very, very successful outing for TagzApp. We had no outages to TagzApp because of traffic or anything like that. The pressure on the processor memory was very, very low and stayed that way throughout the event. We were very happy with the performance of it. So I'm excited. I want to put together instances of TagzApp so that some of our friends that are streaming and getting some interaction can try it out and provide us more feedback. It was a successful event, McNets. Yeah. I'll come back to that greenish pepper in just a minute. So our friends on Slot Squad, they do a bunch of streaming and this type of interaction might be valuable for them to try. And I'm happy to help facilitate more of these types of interactions so that other streamers can try it out and see how it works and give us feedback so that we can add more features. We'll get there. We'll deploy and help some more folks. Our friend LA Face here has an active chat, and I think there's definitely some fun that we can have there, enabling her community, doing some things with TagzApp and figuring out where the next pieces are that we need to build. We've got ideas. We've got all kinds of issues here. Please click through the link at the top of chat. Take a look at the issues. Put some comments in there. Let me know what you think so that not just me, but some of the other developers that are interested in helping out can jump in and help out. There's places to write tests in here, right? Folks, you want to learn about how to write integrated web tests with Playwright? I've got opportunities for you to contribute here, learn, tweak, and we'll review them on stream. You want to write some unit tests? There's opportunities for that also. You have some design ideas? We can do that too. So, thank you, Serge. It was a great .NET Conf. And to reiterate from the top of the stream, .NET Conf 2023 was, by all accounts from viewers, it was a great event, but it was also the most watched .NET Conf of all time. it was the event that triggered the most .NET 8 downloads. The current version of .NET that's released, we started tracking this number with .NET Core 3.1. The most downloads triggered of .NET with it. Now, there were amazing features, and in no small part is the .NET team responsible for putting amazing features in there. Absolutely. It was the most amount of downloads during .NET Conf of all time. That's awesome. That says something about the growth of .NET. That says something about how many folks were eager to get involved and try out the new features, and how many folks heard and saw those presentations and wanted to try it out themselves. Can I put my finger on one of those things as the reason for it? No, but I can report that it was the most downloads in the first week. McNets, thank you so much.
Just resubscribed for 5 months. Just upgrading my last app.
Thank you. Good luck to you. Let us know how it goes. Folks have been reporting back about their upgrades and sharing the good news. We want to celebrate that with you, all right? Wow. Wow, indeed. Johan says, new UI refresh of Visual Studio. Loving it. It's not perfect yet, right? These are things that happen and are growing and moving in the right direction. So...
Kraus 4K just resubscribed for 62 months. Grats, Jeff.
Hang on here. One second. Here we go. Let me see. I don't think I updated here. No, I haven't put down the 17.9. Let's do that real quick before we open and take a look at some code here. Crows, thank you so much. 62 months with us, and I will make another donation to the American Cancer Society. Rambling Geek just cloned TagzApp to have a poke about. So we need to go back and revisit the configuration. The configuration UI for TagzApp isn't quite at the level of integration that I want. So we're going to need to do some tweaking in there, some leveling up to make that a little bit better. Is there a spinning it up guide? No, and that's something that we need to work on, Rambling Geek. We want to make it easy for folks to stand up instances. Johan cloned it. Thank you. Failed to connect. So by default, when you start up Postgres, it's looking for a local instance. So here's what you can do, Johan. Don't pull a Docker container. There's a startdb script in the scripts folder. Check this out. Scripts. And there is here it is, launch db. Docker run, and it will launch a Postgres container for you. So you don't even need to pull the container. It'll go get it for you and start it with this default tags user ID, and then it will migrate everything for you. So it becomes real easy for us as developers to build and work locally. And there is some test data that it will pre-populate from Twitter that you can poke around. Walter on Twitch asks, is there an increment or additional cost for deploying a web app in Azure versus deploying the same web app configured with Aspire? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's an additional cost. They both target app service. They both get containers out there. And there's another thing that we're talking about for TagzApp. So, one second here. I'm being, let's say, is... So where I completely forgot what I was going to say. Additional cost. So there was a thought and a notion from the Azure Container Apps team. Hey, this might be fun to deploy as container apps, so that those apps are out there listening and turn up and turn down appropriately. So I think there's a lot of flexibility that we can explore with this app as we go down a little bit of an architecture journey and we learn about some of these new Azure features together, some of the new .NET 8 features together, and go, there you go, Johan. So when you start it up, you should get some, by default, you should get some Twitter messages from like August that pop up. Well, you're going to need to start listening. You're going to need to log in. Log in. You can't log in until you set up either a Microsoft or a GitHub or a Google provider to be able to log in. And those are things that we need to clean up and make easier so that maybe even we turn back on local users. But for our needs for running in the cloud, letting folks log in with their Microsoft account was real easy to do. You think Aspire allows you to more easily wire together all of your dependencies? Totally agree. Eric, that's a message that I've heard some folks kind of doink around with a little bit here. Let's bring that message up here real quick. And right, Aspire is right at the beginning here. We're in an early preview where first things first, can you build an app and start adding features and deploy it? Ergenrod, thank you so much for 27 months.
Subscribed for 27 months.
And I'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. So what we're seeing that folks are wanting to do, and it makes perfect sense, is to be able to integrate and pull together a mixed mode Aspire application that pulls in applications that are in different languages, different repositories, and be able to deploy that. Makes perfect sense. But there are added levels of complication that are introduced with that. The team has heard those messages, and those types of things are on the design table. We'll see where it goes. So, but there's a GitHub repository out there, right? I believe I got to be careful how I open this because I have access to private repositories. I think that's it. Yes, that is the public repository. Okay. So if you go github.com/.net/Aspire, you can get to the source code for Aspire and you can see the issues folks are already talking through here. Full support for Kubernetes deployment. I don't think you understand. They're trying to get away from Kubernetes on this. And already folks with tons of pull requests, it's great to see, including, look at that one. It's coming. They're talking about, they're building Kafka capabilities. Look at that. Updates for Redis. So, folks are working. There's discussion about it. It's happening. The excitement around Aspire is palatable, and I hope you join for the journey there. It is the cobbler's workbench. You're right, Eric. Dapper support? Don't know. It's coming. These are all things that are happening with Aspire. As they advance, I want to learn from them. I want to steer our learning as a little community So we have kind of published lessons. Here's what we learned as we built TagzApp. Maybe that also provides some real-world feedback, open source real-world feedback to the Aspire team to help their direction that they want to go. So lots we can do, lots to improve and set direction and do cool things with this. I'm excited. So, cool. All right, final stack. Thank you for the resub.
Stack just resubscribed for 29 months.
Yes. Appreciate that, and we'll make another donation to the American Cancer Society. So, I think there's a bunch that we can do here, and after I finish the blocking users feature, I think we come back and revisit some of the startup capabilities. What's involved in starting up? What's involved in configuring to make it much easier and lower that on-ramp so we can bring in new developers, so we can stand up other sites much easier for folks to be able to use and interact with the application. And then we'll get into some design things and some more features to customize, make it easier. Does TagzApp have a dummy provider that generates dummy messages? There is one in the unit tests. There is a thing where if you have Twitter turned off, how exactly does that work? There's a thing where if you have Twitter turned off, it'll generate some dummy messages and put them in the queue, put them in the site for you. I forget exactly how it works, but it's intended to allow that kind of offline testing without actually interacting. Things like that, we need to unroll, document, provide a little bit of a contributing document that shows how to use some of those things that are clearly for development mode. We'll get there, right? We got to a point in the last month and a half where it was, you know what? All eyes forward to .NET Conf, and let's make sure that works. Corey Hurricane Weathers, hello, my friend. Wanted to drop in and say fantastic job. Thank you. Been lurking, need to build some reporting things. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the kind words. It really landed well for us, and we're very happy with the reception of .NET Conf and TagzApp last week. It meant a lot. So we're really happy with how that went. I see a bunch more folks watching on YouTube. I see you there on YouTube. Hello, YouTube friends. Hello. Yes, I'm on the YouTube and on Twitch. I'm interacting with folks on both services. It's okay. We like it. So thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Let me see. What else? What else do we want to get into here? Looking. You know what? I'm wondering, how far in am I here? How long have we been streaming? It doesn't show me the timer up there. We're about $1:42 in. I've got a handful of things that have come up here that I do need to get to. I'm not gonna lie. That's interesting. I'm waiting for OBS to show some things here, and it's not. There you go.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yes, I don't know what that was. I can't tell. Thank you so much. Yep, that's the Marauders map hat. Hey, Keith, thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with .NET Conf. I think I want to wrap up here because I have a couple of reports and things that I need to close out on that are happening here around me, and they're going to take a little bit more of our attention, a little bit more of my attention that I need to address. How much would it cost to run TagzApp on Azure for a local baseball game? About $50. I'm going to throw it out at that because you're going to run a basic 1 or a basic 2, and you're going to spend about $10 for the Twitter interaction. So $50 for a month, right? That you're running it for 1 day. You could knock that down after that day, and it'll only be like $5-10. You're still gonna have to pay the $10 to Twitter if you use Twitter. So you could get that into maybe $10-15. But you could run it then for more than that month, more than just that one event. Run it for multiples. So let me wrap it up here. I've got some things to get to that need my attention. And oh my gosh, Phil! Thank you so much for that cheer.
Cheered 100.
Yeah, let me wrap things up here, and jump into a meeting or two, and get some folks settled here. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating in .NET Conf, for helping with TagzApp. We've got so much more that we're going to be doing tomorrow, Wednesday, in the weeks ahead to improve TagzApp. And I want you to be a part of it. I want you to learn from it with me. We're going to have an amazing time on this. Let me get you connected to somebody else who's streaming out here, who's doing something fun. I'm going to send you over to One Lion, who's working on a financial management app. I didn't answer your question. Oh my gosh, what was it, Greenish Pepper? Let me see if I can answer that. Am I essentially on my Microsoft day or my own time? It's kind of a mix of both. Microsoft allows me to take time to stream, but I'll stream on my own whenever I feel like as well. So, just flexing. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So, let me get you a raid over here to One Lion. Right, I think I got that right. No. No. Come on. Yeah. Oh yeah, flexing my days, absolutely. I'm actually on break this week. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back. We'll see if I can get back tomorrow. I've got a couple things in the morning I need to take care of. I'll definitely be back Wednesday, and we'll do some more work on TagzApp. Get in and do some more work on things. Check out the Discord. I'm going to be a bit more active talking about what's happening with TagzApp over there as we continue. And we try and coordinate folks that are interested in contributing. Get ready to say hi to One Lion on Twitch, and I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest, all right? Take care.